So a continuous spectrum is the one where you cannot figure out the boundary. Means there is no clear categorization of where a particular radiation or particular emission or particular radiation it will end and where another will start. That is continuous spectrum. For example, rainbow. You cannot figure out clearly that where violet light is ending, where indigo is starting. Correct? But a spectrum where there are fixed boundaries between two different type of radiations or two different type of what should I say species, not just the radiation. Like spectrum, it can be defined for anything. Correct? So where there is no where there is a perfect boundary between two different species or two different radiations, that will be considered as discrete spectrum. Two type of discrete spectrum in last class we discussed. One was band spectrum, another one was line spectrum. I'll discuss them in detail now. Okay, I'll start with the emission spectrum and then we will come on towards these different type of spectrums. Okay, so let's start with emission spectrum. Emission spectrum, we say that when radiation emitted from some source, when it is radiating from some source, for example let's say sun, or passing the light through some discharge tube, or a gas at low pressure, or by heating some substance, like if you are heating iron, some different type of radiation will be emitted. If you are heating aluminium, different type of radiation will be emitted, right? So basically when these radiations are emitted from some source, here I could write, when the radiation emitted from some source for example let's say I write sun, okay, is passed through let's say prism and then received on photographic plate or let's say zinc sulfide screen, etc. The spectrum obtained is called as emission spectrum. Okay, this is the definition of emission spectrum. Now depending upon the source of radiation, this emission or absorption, both of these type of spectrum, they can be categorized into two different categories. First one, here I write continuous spectrum. I have already told you what is a continuous spectrum. A vague idea I have already given you. Now here I'll write when white light mixture of different type of radiation or photons. From any source such as sun, let's say sun or bulb or any hot glowing object is analyzed by passing through a prism. It is observed that it splits into 7. I'll just write different, yes of course, into 7 different wide bands of color, from violet to red, which we can see. It can have, this white light itself can have some invisible radiations to us. Let's say UV rays or infrared radiation can also be there, right? Now here, just give me 1 second guys. हेलो, हाँ जी जी, ठीक है, हाँ जी जी, हाँ 21 किलो हुआ तो बढ़िया है. नहीं भाई दिक्कत नहीं होने नहीं, क्या छोड़ जावा हैं घाटी है पर ठीक है. Okay, so now these colors are so continuous that each of them merges into next one. That each of them, it will be merged into the next one, means we cannot differentiate between these different radiations. Like here I am just writing about the white light. That white light, it can have any different kind of radiation. Here we are talking about the radiations which are visible to us. It is not necessary, we cannot differentiate them easily by our naked eye. Yes, we cannot do that, right? So this kind of spectrum, it is called as continuous spectrum. We don't need to draw this continuous spectrum, right? Now next, second one, discrete spectrum. In this yes, I'll talk about that. So in this discrete spectrum, first one, let's say I write about band spectrum. See, this band spectrum contains colorful continuous bands separated by
very closely packed.
some dark space. And it is not necessary that we write about colorful bands only. Okay, here generally, again I am writing generally, not always, molecular spectrums are known as band spectrum. I gave you some examples. For example, this, let's say, for an semiconductor, I'm writing here, for semiconductors, this will be, let's say, valence band, and this is conduction band. Now for conductors, we write again valence band, conduction band, both overlaps with each other. While for insulators, let's say this is for insulators, here this is valence band, this is conduction band. So these are band diagrams for these different type of materials. Yes, beta, step by step we will come on towards absorption spectrum also. Okay, I'm just discussing the first part, no? Absorption spectrum, it will come after this one. So similar to that, this diagram I discussed with you, if you remember. If you remember, I discussed this diagram with you. Like there will be this dark spot, bright spot, then again bright spot, and then this dark spot, like this. When light is passed through very small slit, this kind of diffraction it will be observed, right? So different kind of bands we are obtaining here. For example, bright part here, this one is dark one, right? So these kind of spectrum, they are called as band spectrum. Is that clear? Any confusion, any doubt? Band spectrum is clear. Next one is line spectrum.
So,
Yes,
but absorption spectrum consists a series of very close space lines. So it means band spectrum is a part of absorption spectrum.
beta, absorption and emission spectrum, they are two different type of spectrums, and continuous and discontinuous spectrum will both be present in absorption as well as in emission spectrums. Like
Okay.
these continuous and discontinuous spectrum, they are just the type in which these spectrum will form. While absorption and emission spectrums are what? They are spectrum based on source. Source can be different, and from different sources, different type of continuous or discontinuous spectrum we can have, right? Is that correct or not? Next one, I'll take line spectrum. Now this is basically ordered arrangement of lines of particular wavelengths or frequencies separated by dark space. For example, I could write hydrogen spectrum, or let's say a mixture of two lights, two wavelengths. So one red light and one violet light, if they are mixed with each other and they are passed through prism, then they will give you a line spectrum. Clear? Now, or here one important point we can write: line spectrum can be obtained from atoms. Clear? Now they can be arranged in increasing or decreasing order. How they will be arranged, that I will explain in very short interval of time. Okay, you will come to know that how they will be arranged. Class like this, different lines we are going to obtain if these different wavelengths, they are what to say, they are passed through prism and they are obtained on a screen. That screen, it will look like this. Now it depends upon you whether you are looking from top to bottom or bottom to top. So basically you are arranging them in increasing order of wavelength or decreasing order of wavelength. Anyway you can find comfortable. Okay, so that kind of spectrum, it is called as line spectrum. Is it clear to everyone? Just go through these three different type of spectrums quickly, so that I could start with absorption spectrum also. Done? Next, absorption spectrum. Next is absorption spectrum. Here I'll write when.
Sir, can I define?
Sorry?
Can I define it?
Yes, if you want to.
Spectrum obtained by absorption of radiation is called as absorption spectrum.
Absorption of what? Like if I let's say if I absorb some radiation from sun, will there be any spectrum on my body?
Not in our case, sir.
Then
In case of atoms.
the way you defined, I'm just asking that. Just give me 1 minute. Class में भेजिए. Class में. Okay, so I'll first define it, and you can modify your definition. Your definition is correct. I'm not saying your definition is completely wrong. Okay, but you can modify it. Now we can say when white light from any source, and again I'll say that not necessarily white light only. Whenever I write this part white light, you just consider it to be a packet of different radiations. Okay, it might contain various different type of wavelengths. Okay, it is not necessary that you always take white light only. It may contain sunlight, which may have different radiations which are even not visible to us. Let's say visible range is completely missing. You are moving from cosmic ray to let's say UV radiation only. That packet also you can take, and you can analyze that packet also. Okay, so not necessarily white light, but yes, when I write white light, that means a mixture of different photons or bundle of different wavelength photons. Okay, from any source. Again, not necessarily from sun only. It can be from bulb, or it can be from any source which is going to emit different radiations. Okay, so is first passed through a solution or vapors of a chemical substance. And again, it is not necessary that you take solutions or vapor only. You can even take some stones. Most important thing there is that if that solid object, if you are taking, it should not be opaque. In that case, means at least light should pass through it. Okay, any substance you can take, any chemical substance. Okay, and different type of chemical substances, they will behave differently with these radiation, or these radiations, they will behave differently when we are going to pass them through such kind of solutions or such kind of figures. Okay, so and then analyzed by spectroscope, it is observed that some dark lines are obtained in otherwise continuous spectrum. Like we could have obtained, see, this white light we are passing through a solution, and then we are passing it through some prism. Again, some continuous spectrum we expected. Like for example, here I'll first draw this figure. Let's say a white light is passed, don't say it is a black light. A white light is passed through prism, and we obtain these different lights like this. Okay, directly this white light is light, it is either coming from some bulb or sun, let's say, and it is passed through this prism. A continuous spectrum is obtained, correct? But now in this case, what we are saying, so I'll just clean this figure. This part of continuous spectrum is clear to everyone, I guess. Is it clear? Now in this case, what we are saying, that here in between I have placed one solution. Yes, Javali, solution or some figure or some chemical substance. Yes.
Sir, why it splits into 7 different colors?
Because these 7 different wavelengths are present in that white light that we observe. because the reason
Okay.
being, I'll tell you one more thing. When we are passing, see, even though it is part of physics, you will understand this when optics will be discussed with you. See, this is let's say air, this is also air here, and here let's say glass or some different object is there. Refractive index for air, I consider it to be 1. Let's say it is not even 1, it is 1.0013, something like that. Refractive index for vacuum, we consider it to be 1. That for glass, sorry, mu refractive index for glass, it is I guess 1.5 or 4 by 3. I'm not sure. For water and glass, it is either 1.3 or 4 by 3, 4 by 3, something like that. Okay, these values are not significant from chemistry point of view. In physics they will tell you. Okay, yes, 4 by 3 by 4, no, not less than air. It will be greater than that of air. Okay, so anyway, when, now what is significance of this, I'll come to that point. So basically when this light, it will pass through one, yes, 4 by 3. Okay, I'll just clean this one. I'm not sure whether it is 4 by 3 or 3 by 2. Okay, so here when it will pass through this, see, frequency is the one here. This is a point from physics which you can remember. Okay, try to remember. When light moves from one medium to another, frequency remain unaffected. Frequency will not change, but wavelength and speed, I guess, two of these factor they will change. So here, and even it is not important for us, but again you can remember this one. So out of these three, lambda, c, mu, one will not change and two will change. You can find out which two. Okay, so anyway they are going to teach you that part in physics. So here, depending upon the wavelength of the light, basically this white light, it contains various different type of wavelengths, correct? So what will happen, these different radiations, they are having different wavelength. Now depending upon the wavelength, they will have different diffraction. Less the wavelength, more will be the diffraction when they are moving from one medium to another. Here what is happening, first this light, it is moving from air to glass, some diffraction will be there, and then again glass to air, so another diffraction will be there. Basically this diffraction, it comes out in this manner. Let's say if I take only one light, see, first this will happen and then it will get diffracted in this manner. Any confusion, any doubt? So
No.
depending upon the
No, sir.
wavelength, different deflections we are going to obtain. So violet light, it will get deflected by largest extent. This violet light, it will get deflected by largest extent. So initially they were mixed with each other, there was no path difference, but here, as this violet light get deflected by maximum extent, so it will be obtained on that particular screen. If you take this screen, violet light, it will come here, red light, it will get deflected by that extent. Let's say this was the path of this white light, or sorry, let's say this was the path of that white light. So each light, it will get deflected by certain extent in this manner. So that's why we obtained 7 different colors, or those different radiations, they will give you different colors. Is that clear? Any confusion, any doubt? Correct, I guess. Now
Sir.
these dark lines are supposed to be the result from the fact that when white light it is passed through the chemical substance, radiation of certain wavelength are absorbed. So here, let's say I'll just clean this whole part. anything which you want to note down from this particular part, you can note it down. I'll clean this part. See, depending upon the mu value, refractive index of that prism, again same extent of diffraction will be there. Even we have to talk about the thickness of that prism. Like if you are saying, if I place one more prism here, we are going to obtain a white light undeflected. If same width, same length and same refractive index, everything if it is same, then we are going to obtain white light only, because whatever the deflection we are going to obtain, that will get cancelled out, like in that manner, like that. Like this is not part of chemistry, so anyway it is not important for us for the time being, right? That second prism part. Okay, any confusion, any doubt? If you want to note down anything from this particular part, do it quickly. Okay. Done. Now I'll clean this one. Oh my god, 1 second. Now just imagine that we said that here when this white light it is passed, white light it was passed through this solution. Before that, when this solution was not there, if directly white light was passed through this prism, this continuous spectrum we observed, but now when we are passing through this solution or some chemical substance here, means in between this source and in between this prism, if we have placed some chemical substance, let's say one of these lights it is missing. Okay, so here we are saying that what will happen here, we said that some dark spot will be there here, one dark spot or one dark line, either here or here somewhere, will obtain some dark line in between this otherwise this continuous spectrum. Now this dark light or dark line, what does it corresponds to? That we expected that here some yellow line should have been there in that continuous spectrum. Instead of that yellow part, we are obtaining an empty space. That means that yellow light it has been absorbed by this chemical substance or this solution. Why? Because that solution it contains some chemical compounds. Now that in that chemical compound some atoms or electrons they are present. If those electrons they can move into their higher energy level orbit, or those atoms or molecule or those chemical compound, they can absorb that particular type of light. Like everything, it absorbs different type of radiation. What we are observing, see, we can see objects and their colors, because every object, it absorbs something. When light incident, for example, look at the walls around your room, you can see some colors or some object in your room, or the pen which you are holding right now, or your hand itself, there is some color associated with that, right? Because there is some light present in that room right now. If it is completely dark, not like the dark in normal nights, there also some moonlight is there, or some at least some light from some source is there. If it is completely dark, means there isn't any source of light. Can you see, can you identify the color of any object? Even can you find out the size or shape, or can you even find that object? Will it be possible? We can see things. Again, when I will discuss colloidal state, there again I will talk about the size and wavelength thing, I will talk about their relation. But right now I just want to know that if I want to see an object, that radiation, these different not just radiation, this visible light, it should be there or not. When I defined this not spectrochemical series, I was saying this electromagnetic radiations, there this series, this spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, when I defined that time, use of different radiations I told you. So visible light, it is used for illumination, means to identify objects, their shape, size, color, etc. Correct? So we observe color for different objects. Now that color is because of what? Because white light, it will a packet of all these, mixture of all these lights, it will fall on a particular object. That object, it will absorb a particular wavelength of light, and it will reflect the remaining part. Skin tone of different people is different. Some people, they are fair, some are dark, some are quite very dark. So this depend upon the pigments present in our skin. They absorb a different radiation of light, and they will reflect the remaining part of that light, that white light. So because of that, we observe the color, right? It is not voice is clear, not clear, like what do you want to say? Guys, am I audible to everyone? Okay then. So here, not clear, but check your connection once, because I think my connection is going on very well, and I am very close to the device. Once you check your connection. Okay, I'll try to change my position. And now, so I was saying that we can observe color of different object, because when light incident on a particular object, it will absorb a particular radiation. Let's say it contains lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, etc. And so when there is no light in this world, due to very dark cloud covered, our color will change. Of course, the way you are looking at yourself, you just do one thing. Instead of normal ordinary white light, you do one thing. Take one red color lamp and try to take picture of yours in that red color lamp. Can you identify the actual color of your skin? Just think about it. I can show you some pictures if you want. Like in blue light, your skin color, it will come out to be quite different. correct or not? So here basically I am saying that let's say a packet of photon on the group I'll try to share. Okay, so here let's say a packet of photon it is incidenting on this particular object. It absorbs this lambda 1 and it will reflect back lambda 2 and lambda 3. So whatever color will be formed by mixture of lambda 2 and lambda 3, that will be observed by us, and it will define the color of this particular object. Is that correct? So now here let's not deviate from our topic, and let's come back on this particular part once again. So this kind of spectrum observed, that is called as absorption spectrum. Any confusion, any doubt? Is it clear? Right, now let's move on to our next part, which is hydrogen spectrum. That is relevant for us in this chapter. This is basically the idea about different type of spectrums which I tried to give you. Okay, so in these spectrums, now if there is any doubt, you ask, so that I can start with the hydrogen spectrum. I'll give you 3 minutes to discuss this part and go through this part once again. Okay, if you have any doubt, you write it in the chat. No, I am not going to start a new chapter. We have just started this chapter, atomic structure. Bohr's model, basically it is the first part which usually I discuss, but in order to give an introduction for this chapter, we have spent around 1 week. So after hydrogen spectrum, I'll start quantum mechanics. That is one of the most important part of this chapter. Why the chemical block yellow color? It is not blocking yellow color, beta. See what is happening. You haven't understood this concept right now. See, when this white light consists of various different wavelength is passed through this solution. Let's say NaCl solution I have taken here, sodium chloride, or let's say I have taken nickel prism made of calcite. Basically it's calcium carbonate. So let me first complete this chapter, because around 1 week this chapter it will take now. So this white light, when it is passed through this different type of compounds, let's say, it is basically absorbing it, the molecules, the particles present in this particular solution or particular compound. They will absorb energy associated with this yellow colored light. They absorb a particular wavelength, a particular energy. As I told you that different pigments present in skin, they absorb different wavelength of light. Does all the body part looks does all the body parts they have same color? Our palms, they are of different color, while the other part of the hand, it is of different color because of different pigments present. They will basically absorb different radiation of light, and in the night, in perfect dark, there is no visible light which is being absorbed by the hand, so we cannot see any reflection, means any other light, it is not getting reflected back, so we are not observing any other color. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Okay then. So now next one is hydrogen spectrum. Now, according to Bohr, this Bohr's model which we have discussed, the spectrum arises when an electron from any excited stationary orbit of any principal quantum number n2 jumps from that higher energy level to lower energy level or ground state by passing through different energy levels, right? So because of this difference in energy associated with these orbits, some photons, they will be emitted with different frequency or wavelength accordingly, right? So basically here what we are trying to say that I'll first try to draw this diagram again. Let's say n is equals to 1, k shell, l shell, m, here n is equals to infinity. I am right. Energy levels I can write minus 13.6 electron volt, minus 3.4 electron volt, here 0 electron volt, like this. Correct. Now if there is any electron excited to any of the state, let's say here in n is equals to 4. Now in order to decrease its potential energy, what it will do, in order to gain stability, either it will move to n is equals to 3, or n is equals to 2, or n is equals to 1. These possibilities are there, right? Or third possibility which I am taking, that it moves to n is equals to 1. Now in order to move from n is equals to 4 to n is equals to 1, again three different number of different possibilities are there. Either it directly moves from 4 to 1, or it moves from 4 to 3, 3 to 1, or 4 to 2, 2 to 1, or 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, like that. Is that correct or not? So in these different possibilities, it will be emitting some different wavelength photons. Is that correct or not? Now if these photons emitted, if they are arranged in a particular definite pattern, a spectrum will be obtained, and that spectrum it is called as hydrogen spectrum. Is that clear? The mathematical part, how to calculate lambda wavelength, that I have already told you. That for example, again I will give you one basic idea, that here if electron, it jumps from second to first orbit, some photon, it will be emitted. Here delta E is the energy, delta E I can write as h mu. So frequency of that photon can be calculated. This is one of the photon if electron only jump from second to first orbit. Is that clear? Right. Now what Bohr did in order to obtain this spectrum, so basically he took this hydrogen lamp. This is hydrogen gas filled in this lamp, or this bulb, or arc spark we have taken. Here I'll write. Basically the use of this lamp or arc spark or any electrical device is to provide energy to this hydrogen gas. So first what will happen, this hydrogen gas, it get converted into atomic hydrogen, and the electron present in hydrogen atom, they will get excited to different energy levels. When we will complete periodicity, you will come to know that how this process it will occur. That if we are supplying energy to this molecule, what will happen? First I am saying this bond will break, then after breaking the bond, atomic hydrogen we have obtained. Now atomic hydrogen, like electrons present in the ground state, these atoms of hydrogen we have obtained, and number of atoms are there, let's say. Now further if I am supplying energy, what will happen? Energy of these different electrons, that will increase. electrons, they can depending upon the total energy supplied, electrons they can jump into n is equals to 2 or 3 or 4 5 infinity, or let's say total 100 hydrogen atoms if I have taken. Out of those 100, let's say 20 atoms, electrons has been excited completely. Many of them they excite up to n is equals to 100. 20 of them, let's say they excite to n is equals to 50 60 70, any number. Okay, so basically we are supplying energy in that case. Okay, so I suppose you understood this part. So now when these electrons they will get de-excited by supplying energy with the help of that lamp. These electrons they has been excited. Now what will happen? They are present at higher energy level orbits. So what will happen? They will try to come down to low energy levels in order to gain stability. Say yes or no. Is this part clear to everyone? I suppose. Is that correct? So here we say that when these electrons they will get de-excited. Now when these electrons get de-excited, they'll release photons. Say yes or no. Of different or same wavelength. Is that correct? Right now I am just writing different or same wavelength. We'll come to know that whether they will release photons of different wavelength or same wavelength. That we will discuss. Okay, let's say I write a question mark here. Up to here, any confusion, any doubt? Is it clear? Sure. Okay then. So now after this, if I say that I started with the 50 or 50 hydrogen molecule or 1 mole of hydrogen molecule or n number of hydrogen molecule, that will give you 2n hydrogen atom. Now those 2n hydrogen atom they will contain 2n electrons, which are like what should I say, potential target to get excited. They can get excited easily, correct, if we are supplying energy. So out of those 2n molecules, choose any number. Choose any number. Let's say 100, 1000 ले लो. Let's say 1000 hydrogen atoms are there. So 1000 electrons will be there in the ground state for the time being in that lamp itself. Now those 1000 hydrogen atoms, they will have 1000 electrons also in the ground state. Now if you are supplying energy, out of those 1000, let's say 100 reach to first orbit. 100 of them they get excited to first shell. 100 or let's say 200 लिख देता हूँ. In 2 seconds, 350 get excited to let's say fourth shell. 50 get excited to n is equals to infinity. Number of different possibilities I am taking. Or let's say all 1000 get excited to n is equals to infinity if I supply excess of energy, or infinity minus 1, wherever you want to excite. Let's say hypothetically I am writing this infinity minus 1. I know infinity minus 1 will be infinity only. Is that clear? Now what will happen to any of these electrons, which are excited? They will get de-excited, correct? So I'll take one of the case. I'll also ask you to make cases by yourself. Let's say I take one case where out of these 1000, let's say I write 700 reach to n is equals to infinity, and remaining 300 reach, or let's say remaining 200 reach to n is equals to 1, and 100 reach to n is equals to 10 or 2 or 3 or 5, whatever you want to say. So when these 100, just imagine, okay, just imagine, when these 100, they will move from n is equals to 2 to n is equals to 1, they will emit wavelength, like they will emit 100 photon of same wavelength. Say yes or no. Is that correct? They will emit photon of same wavelength. Correct. Which mean that photon, if it is passed through this prism, it will get all these photons, they will reach up to same height in this photographic film or photographic plate. Correct only. Instead of this, let's say I take this green color light. Now similarly, these 200, here I'll write 200, here I write, let's say 100. Now these 100, they are moving from n is equals to 10 to n is equals to 1 or 2 to 1, whatever orbit you want to write. Let's say from n is equals to 10 to, just give me 1 second, okay, from here to here, either it moved directly or it moved from 10 to 1, 1 to this. Number of possibilities are there, so different photons will be there. In this case, let's say lambda 1, in this case lambda 2, in this case whatever wavelength will be there, it will be same with the, like those 100 electron or not, or sorry 100 photon or not. So for these different de-excitations, different photons we are going to obtain here. Is it clear or not to everyone? So infinite possibilities will be there. Is that correct? Right. Now Kishore Reddy, if you have any doubt, you ask. Anyone having any kind of doubt up to this particular part? Yes, Vamsi.
No.
Yes. Vamsi, speak. Okay, so should we move on? So now I'm saying that infinite possibilities are there. So out of these infinite possibilities, I'll try to take these infinite possibilities. Here I say that I'll just clean this part. Okay. If you want to note down, you can note it down quickly. Just do it so that I can clean this one. I guess done. I'll clean this one. Now when these atoms present here which have been excited because of the supply of energy, they will de-excite, they will release n number of different photons because of those n number of possibilities. When this light, it contains number of different wavelengths, right? When it is passed through this Nicol prism, this is sign for Nicol prism. It's not like one prism and another prism, they are placed in opposite direction, not like that. Okay, don't get confused into that particular part. This is representation of Nicol prism, made up of calcite. It is a different type of calcium carbonate, like marble only, but it is crystalline form of that calcium carbonate, where calcium ion and carbonate ions are arranged in a different manner. Okay, it is not completely opaque, it is not completely transparent. So these wavelengths or sorry, these photons, they will get deflected by different extents. Is that clear? So here I'll try to take those different photons here. Like this, let's say different wavelengths I have obtained. Okay, now let's say these are a number of different photons I have obtained on these photographic films. So can you, first of all, can you tell me here, if I'll write lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4, I'll just clean this part once again, lambda 5, lambda 6, lambda 7, lambda 8. Can anyone tell me, out of lambda 1 to lambda 8, which one will have minimum wavelength first of all, or which one will have maximum energy? Of course, energy and wavelength are inversely proportional to each other. So which one will have maximum energy? Maximum energy. Okay, Suraj, that is wrong. Vamshi, lambda 1, of course. If it is not lambda 1, lambda 8, then it will be lambda 1 only. Nice.
Lambda 8.
Lambda 1, yes, of course. So yes, everyone. So now everyone, not panda 1 but lambda 1. Yes. So here, all of you, just pay attention. This lambda 1, it is having maximum deflection. It will have minimum wavelength. Minimum wavelength means it will have maximum energy. Is that correct? Any confusion, any doubt? Now I'll take that that energy level diagram once again. I'll just look at it. That can you figure out which transition will have maximum energy difference? Which transition here will have maximum energy difference? Is it infinity to infinity minus 1? These are the two largest number. Will it have maximum energy difference? Of course no. Is it infinity to 2? That is also no. Is it 2 to 1? That is again no. So which one will have maximum energy? Which photon? The photon which is moving from infinity to 1. Say yes or no. All who agree with me, raise your hand. Correct? Okay, nice. Nice. Okay, you can lower your hands. So now this transition, it will have maximum energy photon released. Is that correct? So here I will write this lambda 1. I'll just clean all these lambdas. This lambda 1 here, regarding this lambda 1, I'll write here on the top, lambda 1 maximum energy, minimum wavelength, corresponds to infinity to 1. Is that right? That I can write. Now the energy difference, once again I'll look at it, once again I'll look at this energy level diagram. Should I clean this one if this part is done? Let's clean this one first. Now after this transition, next transition or next photon with the highest energy will be what? Infinity minus 1 to 1, infinity minus 2 to 1, 1000 to 1, 100 to 1, 50 to 1, 40 to 1, 30 to 1, 25 to 1, 10 to 1, 5 to 1, 4 to 1, 3 to 1, 2 to 1. Yes or no? Is that correct? So here finally what I observe, that the energy difference between 2 to 1, when I move in this manner, the energy difference between 2 to 1 is even greater than that of energy difference between infinity to 2. Like that first radiation which we got from infinity to 1. Next one, should I get it for infinity to 2? Should I get it for infinity to 2? No. Why? Because the energy difference between 2 to 1, that is 10.2 electron volt, which is even greater than the energy difference between infinity to 2, which is only 3.4 electron volt. Isn't that right? So there is this series, of radiation having maximum energy I am getting, where lambda 1 is having maximum energy, minimum wavelength, and finally this lambda 2 I will write, which will have minimum energy, I'll write lambda 2 minimum energy, maximum wavelength, that is that corresponds to 2 to 1. This is a series, this is only I have written for a particular series only. Don't say sir lambda 2 is not having minimum energy will be there for this wavelength. I am writing it for this one series having highest energies photon. Is that correct? Or I can write here, instead of lambda 1 lambda 2, I'll write lambda minimum lambda maximum. I'll write lambda max, and here I'll write lambda minimum. This is for first series which we are obtaining here. Any confusion, any doubt? Correct. Now this series here, the transitions also we can write lambda max I could write for infinity to 1, lambda minimum I could write it for 2 to 1. Correct. Now next series, all these radiations, they will have energy less than these but energy greater than these radiations. So next series where we will get highest energies, that will be first from infinity to 2, infinity minus 1 to 2, infinity minus 3 to 2, 100 to 2, 50 to 2, 40 to 2, like that. Even if I see 3 to 2, the energy difference around 1.89 electron volt, that is even greater than that of energy of third orbit, 1.51 electron volt. The energy difference between 2 to 3 is even greater than the energy difference between 3 to infinity or infinity to 3. Isn't that right? Correct. So here this second series, again I could write here, this is lambda max, which corresponds to infinity to 1. Here I write lambda minimum, for second series, which corresponds to 3 to 2. I could write this as first series. Here I could write it as second series. Similarly here, lambda max, lambda minimum. Lambda max I can write for infinity to 3, here 4 to 3. This I can write it as third series. Is that correct? Any confusion, any doubt? Now Niels Bohr, he named these series after name of his students. Okay, now this first series, it is called as Lyman series. Second series, it is called as Balmer series. Okay, I'll give you a complete table for these series. Third series, it was called as Paschen series. Okay, this is the theoretical part where I don't think any confusion should be there. Is that correct? Now I have questions, I have doubts. That for hydrogen only, we will be talking about hydrogen spectrum. I have this first doubt. Can you calculate lambda max, lambda minimum for first series? Can you calculate lambda max, lambda minimum for second series? Can you calculate lambda max, lambda minimum for third series? 6 questions are there. You have 3 minutes. Do it quickly. Can you do that, all of you? Those who cannot do that, raise your hand. All of you can do. Just go through these 6 questions and let me know that whether this Lyman series, it falls under a particular range or not. Means those that electromagnetic spectrum I gave it to you, correct, where different radiations were there. Visible range was there, ultraviolet range or ultraviolet rays were there, infrared rays were there. You have to find out whether this Lyman series, whether it falls under any of those series or not. Okay, that can you do? So there are 6 questions, 3 minutes, your time starts now.
Sir,
Yes,
not the maximum and minimum values, but I know that which spectral series will form
but I
with
know
wavelength
that you
ratio.
know, you can even remember them. But what I want is you to calculate. I want you to figure out by yourself. I want you to see that yes, the information which you know, that is correct or not. Like I know everyone can remember that first series, it will be lying in UV range, because of course lambda values, we will be getting the set of these wavelength that will have minimum value. So of course it will have higher energy, means it will be lying in UV range. Second one, Balmer series, that will be lying in visible range. Third one, it will be lying in infrared, like that. But
Yeah,
I want you to figure out, that will be your question. 6 wavelength only you have to find out, no? That you can do? Yes, you can use calculator. And your homework will be, you are going to find out different regions, like the same way. Like here, the first series you are getting in UV region, second one in visible range, third one in infrared radiations. Similarly, you will try to do the same for helium also. For helium also, you will try to find out that whether first series it will be lying in ultraviolet region or not. Second series, whether it will be lying in ultraviolet region or visible range. Okay. Very good. Just find. Likita, I want you to find out the value beta. Because in terms of RH, you cannot define whether it will be in ultraviolet region or visible range. That you cannot define, no beta. Like directly you can do this. Guys, stop doing whatever you are doing. Stop. Just stop it. Directly you can write lambda will be 1242 by delta E. Delta E you can calculate easily in nanometers. Simple as that. Correct? Yes, very good. Lambda max will be 121.56 nanometer, and lambda minimum it will be 98 nanometer if I am right. उल्टा लिख दिया क्या? Sorry guys, there is this small mistake which we have done here. Lambda max, when I am writing, it is maximum energy minimum wavelength. Don't get confused that this is having maximum value of wavelength. Lambda max I am writing, it means just the energy. This maximum minimum part, it defines energy only. It doesn't define magnitude of lambda. Or you can even write it as I thought you will not get confused, but if you are getting confused, it means lambda minimum E maximum. Okay, lambda max means lambda with the maximum energy. Okay, not with maximum magnitude of wavelength. Don't get confused with that. Here on the top I have defined it. Okay, be careful, because after class you might have this doubt, sir, why you have written lambda max here. That lambda max corresponds to maximum energy, not to maximum wavelength. Yes, lambda max you were getting as 121 nanometer. Lambda minimum you are getting as maximum for Balmer is 720 nanometer. Good. So first series, is it coming out in UV region? Second one, is it coming out in visible range? Means this first series minimum for Balmer is 344 nanometer. Yes. You are saying it in reverse manner, beta. You just check your values once. Likita, this maximum value of wavelength you are saying, or lambda max you are saying? Just be clear with that.
I'm saying for lambda.
Okay, lambda max. Yes, very good. That is correct. Okay, so basically we have figured out that first one, this first series, it will correspond to UV region. Second one, it will correspond to visible range. Third one, infrared. Like that, these wavelength, it will keeps on going. So what is significance of this spectrum? So basically we have obtained an line spectrum, different lines. It will we will observe them in this particular manner, that here 1 2 3 4 5, this one series, another series, like that. This kind of spectrum we are going to obtain. So that kind of spectrum, it is called as this line spectrum. Okay, any confusion, any doubt? Now what is significance of getting all these values? means if I am getting this lambda max, lambda minimum, what is the use of these spectrums, that we will discuss in next class. Okay. And yes guys, I want to announce most probably tomorrow will not be any class for chemistry. Okay. My sister's engagement will be finalized tomorrow. So tomorrow most probably I won't take class. If I'll get free early, then in the evening I'll try to take the class. Okay. So by the time you try to go through the assignment, those 4 pictures I have shared in the group. Okay, those who have not got those pictures, those assignment, you message me, I'll send them to you. Okay, go through that assignment, and in next class we will just try to wind it up, and then we will move on towards dual nature and uncertainty principle. Okay, thank you so much everyone.